Hey Joe, it's Folks here. The goal for the video today is to hopefully prepare you for 2023 as a print-on-demand seller. Whether you are brand new or you have been at it for a while, today I'm going to be talking about things that sometimes can be a problem for most people. And they're also things that most people don't want to talk about. Most people watching print-on-demand content like this on YouTube are looking for some super simple two-step magic overnight strategy that will immediately allow you to begin collecting cash from customers. And if you're smart, you know that's not possible. And if you're wise, you know that creating a print-on-demand store is you creating an actual business. And that's truly what I try to talk about here on my channel. Make sure to check out some of my other videos as well, where I share some of the strategies that are working for me on my stores, as well as some of the best print-on-demand products that you can sell. If you want to go through some step-by-step training, make sure to check out my course. There is a link down in the description. Inside, you'll get access to over 30 step-by-step videos showing you how to open your print-on-demand store. The best part is it is completely free, and like I said, there is a link down in the description. Now, the first problem I want to address today is your mindset, and secondly, your goals. Check out this comment I got on a Facebook post inside of my print-on-demand Facebook group. I get that the potential ceiling is much higher on Shopify, but Etsy is easy and a lot faster to set up. Before I talk about my response, I want to sort of contextualize this a little bit for you. This was a comment made on a post of mine where I was comparing Shopify to Etsy in terms of where you can actually build a print-on-demand store. In their comment, they mentioned that they are aware that on Shopify the ceiling is higher, which means they are admitting that you can go higher with Shopify, but Etsy is just so easy, as they say. I responded and I said, making chicken nuggets is super easy too, but throwing some salt and pepper on some chicken and throwing it on the grill is not that hard. And honestly, long term, that's going to be a much better source of food for you. And this is a conversation that I have had many times with lots of different people on the internet when it comes to starting a print-on-demand store. I believe this is going to continue to be a problem that a lot of people face in 2023 as they begin to start their own print-on-demand store. Most people want something easy. They want something with a low barrier to entry. And that's something that they have found is Etsy. A lot of people online have presented Etsy as a magical place where anyone can simply upload products and there are just endless amounts of people willing to buy them. The problem with this is that people don't realize how competitive this platform has actually become. Virtually any niche that you type in on Etsy is going to have hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of results showing of people actually trying to sell products to that niche. The problem with this is if you're just starting your store, you're going to end up on like page 10 or something. When is the last time you went to page 2 of Google results? The same thing is true here. A lot of people are typing something in on Etsy and they're buying something from the first page. In the year 2023, in order to actually succeed with Etsy, and by succeed, I just mean to be able to generate some consistent monthly profits, you're likely going to need to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of designs on your Etsy shop, which to me is not an easier way. Of course, it's easier to get set up, but long term, you're going to be spending a lot more time and ultimately your reward is going to be a lot less, at least in my experience and in those people's experiences that I've interacted with. A better way to make print-on-demand sales is to build out your own site. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time to set it up, but so does putting salt and pepper on chicken. Ultimately, once you have your own site, you can focus on building your own brand. You can start with a small product catalog and you can begin to build out your own social media pages that ultimately build your brand rather than Etsy. And that's what my comment ultimately was meant to recap. To me, a major problem that people in 2023 will face is looking for an easy way to start their store. They've been sold on this idea that for some reason, Etsy is a great place for beginners to get started. And in my opinion, opinion, unless you are someone that has a lot of experience creating designs and marketing online, then Etsy might not be a great spot for you. Which sort of brings me to the next problem here, where people are expecting everything to just work all the time. A major problem for print-on-demand sellers in 2023 is not properly understanding how to self-diagnose their problems. I have another comment here. This one is from another one of my YouTube videos, and they basically said that they had a Shopify store with about 500 products on it. They ran Facebook ads for a month and sold nothing. They said no one in the world can see your store unless you spend $1,000 per week on ads. I wrote back and I simply said, I don't mean any offense by this, but it sounds like you just didn't do well. Doesn't mean the system is flawed. I wrote that running ads is working very well for lots of POD businesses, including mine. Basically, what they're saying is, I built a store. I did some marketing. I didn't get results. Facebook ads don't work. Let me give you an analogy here. Let's say that you and I wanted to open a restaurant. Let's say that on our first day of business, what we did to promote it was we went all around town and we hung up flyers. On the flyer, we told people the address, the date that we were opening, and what time they should show up. Let's say on opening day, we had hundreds of people waiting in line for us to open the doors. Let's say when we opened the doors, we had a whole bunch of people that came into the restaurant. Let's say those people looked around the restaurant, they looked at the menu, and ultimately, let's say that all of them left and not a single person actually ordered any food from us. How crazy would you and I be to go on YouTube and make a comment somewhere that says, we tried hanging up flyers, they don't work. Does anybody have any other ways that we can think about promoting our food? We would be crazy to do that because the problem obviously wasn't our flyers. The problem was that perhaps our restaurant was a bit smelly. Maybe it was dirty. Maybe we were dirty. Maybe the food was too expensive. The point is that the flyers worked. They got people to the restaurant, just ultimately we didn't have things that people wanted to eat. The reason I share that analogy is because a lot of people think that just because they build themselves a store and they market the store, that the internet is a place where buyers are just automatically found. They almost treat what they're doing as some sort of a computer program that can be set up correctly. Essentially saying, I followed all the steps and when I turned on my store, it didn't work. What should I do to fix it? The problem here is they are not self-diagnosing and realizing that this is not something that you just go into your settings and change. You ultimately have to offer print-on-demand products that people actually want to buy. I see this a lot with other ways too, like take this comment here. You can see that they said, are Facebook ads better than Pinterest ads? They said, I've been using Pinterest ads for a few months, which has increased my traffic, but I haven't had any conversions from them. They said that my shop has significantly slowed after my first year and I am struggling. Essentially, I will give the same response. Just because you switch your advertising method does not mean that you are going to now see sales. That would be like us starting to run ads on TV for our restaurants instead of hanging up flyers. The end result is that people came into the restaurant and they didn't buy. It doesn't matter how they got there. In the year 2023, you're going to want to focus on making sure that you are making a great looking store. You want to make sure that it's a place where people feel comfortable spending their money. Secondly, you want to make sure that you're creating products that represent specific niches. This is going to get people interested in actually buying a product from you. In most cases, when we are selling products on social media, we are trying to get people to create an impulse purchase decision, which means ultimately we need to sell to them based on a specific niche, so then that way they can have an emotional response to what it is we are selling. If you are just doing something that's generic or abstract, that is going to be extremely difficult for you. The fourth comment we want to look at today is probably the biggest problem for print-on-demand sellers in general, and it is right here. It says, if you are watching this video, be very careful because these are scams. And to me, this is the biggest problem in the world for print-on-demand sellers, is people that make comments like this. And I totally get it. This person is making this comment likely because they are someone that has created a store following something that they saw online. They probably wasted a bunch of time and a bunch of money with the idea that this was going to be easy, and then they feel like they are being scammed. And to me, that's a problem because, like I said, what I'm trying to do here is give you some actionable advice and to really talk about what you need to do to actually begin to create yourself a great print-on-demand business, and more importantly, what you should avoid. The problem with this comment here shows me that my mission here is not successful yet. And one thing you can do to help me is drop a like on the video. That's going to help more people here to actually see this content and hopefully to hear some of what I'm saying about treating this like a real business, especially in the year 2023 as this business model becomes even more popular. So that's basically some things that I wanted to talk about, some things that I was seeing and thinking about that I wanted to address for you to hopefully help you to get ready for 2023. And perhaps when you're watching this, maybe we're already in 2023. Regardless though, hopefully you did get something out of this video, and I will see you in the next one.